Adjusters deal with stress all day. There are various reasons for this, but let's see if the following scenario sounds familiar to you. Your stomach churns as the boss invites you into his office and closes the door. You're the third claims manager to go one-on-one with the big cheese today. He has you sit down as he clears his throat and begins. As you know, your assistant just resigned. Because company management believes in you, we're not replacing her, but are reassigning her responsibilities to you and your remaining staff. This may increase your current workload by 20%. There may be delays in getting claim payments out, but we're confident that you and your staff can handle it. Since your relationships with key accounts are so strong, and we're under orders from the top, he continues, we're cutting your travel budget by 50%. Further, the home office has put its foot down about using temps for peak times of demands in the claims area, so there may be delays you'll have to live with in managing workflow. Finally, corporate wants to put you in charge of adjuster training. I need your assessment of this productivity plan by Tuesday at noon. Congratulations. Oh, one more thing, the boss says, almost as an afterthought on your way out. Did I mention the pay freeze? Let's face it, claims work is a demanding mistress, and like a jealous lover, it can monopolize our time and attention, drive us to drink or divorce, and wreak havoc in our lives unless we find ways to manage the stress. And claims work has unique stresses and perils. Should I obsess over the worst possible outcome on this claim? Will my decision on this file come back to haunt me? Is my staff honest and really working hard? Should I send this email? Will my company downsize or be acquired and decide that I'm expendable? Let's face it, claims people live not only with loss, but with stress. And to control one, we ratchet up the other. But if we don't manage stress, we face problems in our personal and professional lives. No adjuster wants or needs to be on the wrong side of divorce, alcoholism, or heart attack statistics. Now, claims people are skilled at assessing risks elsewhere, but to avoid burnout, we've got to be perceptive about our own careers, managing them, and pacing ourselves to maximize our energy. So here are 12 tips to avoid adjuster burnout, and the first one is to work out. There are physical athletes and corporate athletes, and in claims, the fit have the edge over couch potatoes. Author Jeffrey Fox says, your brain will make you money, but your body carries your brain. He also adds that 90% of all people climbing the corporate ladder are out of shape. Let me give you an example. One of my friends manages a captive insurance program involving international risks. He says, I'm a karate martial artist, and I've trained for over 20 years. It helps me finish the day with a good sweat and burns off any stress-related moments that I have. Now look, you don't have to be a black belt in claims or do karate or be a ninja adjuster. Just remember that regular, moderate exercise is sufficient. 20 minutes of aerobic exercise 3 times a week is a minimum. Try biking, jogging, walking, swimming, tennis, whatever. You can curl those heavy claim files. And 1, and 2, feel the burn. The point is to find an activity that you like, establish an enjoyable regimen, and you may find out you look forward to it rather than seeing it as drudgery. Investing in health through exercise is maybe the best daily investment we can make. Don't have time to exercise? Well, who does? The point is to make time. Find time to exercise, or eventually you'll have to find time for illness. And maybe when you do find time to exercise, you too will become a ninja adjuster. That's tip number 1. Tip number 2 is to take 5. All people need a certain amount of rest. The mind needs a minimal amount of dream time. Some adjusters need at least 8 hours of nightly shut-eye. All that I ask is that you not get it during this slide deck. Other people need less, but skimping on sleep wears you down, compromising the alertness that is critical to effective decision-making in claims. Chronic sleepiness also makes us testy and irritable, qualities ill-suited to handling claims and managing people. We all need downtime to compress from the stresses beating on us as adjusters. Don't view this as wasted time. Really, what's more important, a heartbeat or a pause between the beats? Now, without the pause and our heartbeats, we'd be dead. A lot of my business has been spent working with medical device companies as clients. They make medical equipment like cardiac rhythm management devices, pacemakers, and defibrillators. And I've learned there that if there aren't enough pauses between the beats of your heart, it's called tachycardia. And left untreated, you can die from it. The moral is, treasure not only the beats, but the spaces between the beats. That prevents burnout. When you draw from the bottom of an empty well, all you bring up is dirty water. So the moral is, periodically replenish your well. Tip number 3, make time for family and friends. As claims people, we spend most waking hours working, taking statements, appraising damage, reviewing medical reports and bills, dealing with claimants and insureds, haggling with attorneys, filling out paperwork, preparing reports, sitting in meetings. In the remaining moments, though, make time for family and friends, undistracted by professional concerns. Why marry and have a family if you never see your spouse or kids? You know, no one's ever been quoted on their deathbed as saying, "I only wish I had spent more time at the office handling fire losses." Does the name Scott Lang sound familiar? Well, he was the high-profile risk manager at Microsoft a few years back. At age 43, he retired, not resigned, from Microsoft. And the reason he gave, he was quoted in Business Insurance as saying, "I can't get what I want with my family and work at Microsoft." He got tired of having only 30 minutes a day to see his wife and kids. The point is that life's inbox is always full. Claim files will always be there. Your family may not. So, tell family and friends in advance when you'll be preoccupied or incommunicado during peak work times, during an office move, during a big cat loss or a conversion to a new computer system, a big claims audit, or any of the other crises to which we as claims people have to respond. You know, claims work is stressful enough without burdening ourselves with marital or family turmoil. So discuss these needs with your family beforehand so that your support crew will be there when you need them. Tip number 4, make time for yourself. This includes introspection, daydreaming, even self-indulgence. This relaxes you, clarifies what's important, and enhances your enjoyment of life. It also keeps us from begrudging the time we spend working claims. One key to dealing with stress is balance in life. It's essential to keep balance between your professional life, your home life, your personal leisure time, because if you let one of those areas get unbalanced, you won't be able to deal with stress. You know, stress can be an energizer or an energy sapper. It depends on how you handle it. For many adjusters and claims people, when they face deadlines, they are energized. They thrive on adrenaline. And our work presents constant deadlines. That's, in a way, positive stress, and strong time management skills let us deal with that stress constructively. There's a recent Newsweek cover story on stress, and the magazine got a lot of letters to the editor. One was from a guy in California that really hit me. He wrote, "I'm glad I have stress in my life because it provides obstacles to overcome in pursuing life's achievements. Without it, why bother to do anything?" That's an example of positive stress. By contrast, there is negative stress, and that saps our energy. Ever been around people who constantly complain? Remember the old Saturday Night Live shows? They had some characters there named Doug and Wendy Weiner portrayed here. They whined about everything. The point is, avoid hanging out with the whiners. Avoid pity parties. A half an hour being with them, your energy level is drained by their negative stress. The key is really to ask complainers, Can you control the situation you're complaining about? If so, change things. If not, stop complaining because it won't do any good. So let stress work for you, not against you. Tip number 5, vary your routine. Habits have pluses, predictability, reliability, and consistency, but they can also be mind-numbing. It's too easy to get into a rut. Here I've got a picture of Admiral John Poindexter, who was part of a presidential cabinet years ago. Story was, according to legend, that every day he ate his lunch at his desk. Every day like clockwork, his staff noticed. One day, they noticed he had turned around and he was eating his lunch at his credenza. He was such a slave to habit, one of his staff people timidly asked why he was eating at his credenza instead of at his desk, to which he replied, "Variety is the spice of life." Okay, we don't have to be like John Poindexter, so don't get into a rut. Recharge by changing your routine. Change your time of arrival, your departure, your lunch, vary your commute, handle a different kind of claim if you can, go somewhere different for lunch with a different person, but breathe fresh life into your daily habits. Or get squirrely. A friend of mine who adjusts claims in South Carolina says, not everyone can do this, but I have 7 windows in my office with lots of trees outside. I watch squirrels. Darn little things relieve stress in 45 seconds. So get squirrely, but vary your routine to fight stress. Tip number 6, cultivate your sense of humor as a coping situation. Can you laugh at yourself? Can you see humor in everyday situations? If so, that's good, because laughter is a great stress reliever. It lends perspective when claims people feel depressed and isolated, and it's really easy to think that no one really cares or understands our job. The knock on claims is that it's a cost center, a black hole. So, having a sense of humor is really key for career and job longevity in claims. Don't take my word for it. According to AccountTemps, an employment agency, keeping a sense of humor or getting one is necessary if you want to make it up the corporate ladder. They surveyed 150 executives from different firms, asking managers if a good sense of humor is important for executives who want to advance. 46% said that a sense of humor is somewhat important, and another 45% of respondents said a good sense of humor is very important. Max Mesmer, chairman of AccountTemps, says a good sense of humor is vital because when pressure mounts and deadlines loom, humor helps diffuse tension. So, look on the light side and use humor as a stress buster. Tip number 7 to fight stress: plan realistic work schedules. Don't cram your appointments too close together. Tackle priority and tough work early in the day when you're freshest. Allow ample time, extra time if possible, to complete tasks. It's easy to underestimate the time that projects will take. It's easy to assume that no problems or glitches will pop up. However, Murphy's Law operates. To paraphrase the bumper sticker, stuff happens. Or the competing bumper sticker that reads, Murphy was an optimist. Hope for the best, but plan for the worst. Build extra margin into your plans. Reasonable deadlines help us polish and refine. Pace yourself. And when dealing with others who press us for commitments, underpromise and overdeliver. And that's tip number 7. Tip number 8 to fight adjuster burnout: don't procrastinate. If you put things off, you better own stock in the company that makes Rolaids. Inherent in claims work are annoying and anxiety-producing tasks. Returning phone calls of jerks, taking positions on claims that are unpopular, explaining exclusions to someone who thought they had full coverage, finishing a project under a tight deadline, giving the boss bad news about a trial that was lost. These are tempting to put off, but don't. Delay in facing